Searching, solving mysteries in the night. Chasing shadows, finding answers, shining bright light. No one's left behind in the darkness, all alone. With a heart like a siren, she brings the lost ones home. Silent cries in the dark no longer have to be, for justice wheels keep turning, granny on the beat. Broken voices find their power, call out hope again. Then these crime busters run, no victims left in pain. Bravery in her veins, truth she won't disguise. With a fire in her eyes, she's got nothing to deny. Granny fights for justice, never backs down from the call. For the voiceless and the missing, she'll stand tall.
Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? I see K9 and Ginger. Hello, girls. Good to see ya. So tonight we're going to talk about Sebastian, of course. But hello, Samantha. Good to see you. Seth's thing. And yes, guys, I cried ugly. I did. Especially at the end. Oh my gosh. That was so heartbreaking, right? Just heartbreaking. So we're not going to watch the whole thing tonight. I did want to just go over a couple of parts of what he said. The one thing that really stuck out to me, though, is he stated that people are saying to his face, or I don't know if he's been on podcasts or whatever, that Sebastian is deceased. And that's the one thing that I have said here, is that I want to stay true to what Seth wants, because he's the one suffering. He's the one that's doing everything in his power to bring his son back home. And we should be following his lead, right? I don't care about anybody else out there. I don't care what anybody else is doing, right? We've all had our thoughts, right? Yeah, me too, Granny, me three. I'm sure, Samantha has tears. Yeah, it was horrible. It was just, I shouldn't say horrible. She showed a video of Sebastian that will really make you cry ugly. Oh, goodness. But I mean, I don't mean to say that it's horrible, because it was about Sebastian, which Seth never fails to do that. When he says that it's all about Sebastian, that's what it is. That's what it is. It's always all about Sebastian. He doesn't even like to talk about some of the other stuff very much, right? So I kind of wanted to point that one out, because that's huge, and that was kind of the title of our thumbnail tonight. And I just really wanted to let you guys know that I want to honor that in our chat. Let's not, because we never know if he's watching in the bushes, guys, right? So let's not speculate because he's right. There is no evidence that Sebastian's gone. There's not one iota of evidence that Sebastian is no longer alive. Not one little bit. I know. Ginger says, I cannot imagine having to read my son's voice from reports after he is missing. I know. Yeah. And what a sweet voice he has. It was, I could tell that Sebastian had to have been younger on a few of those. And it's awesome that Seth kept those, right? That shows you a father's heart, right? That shows you a father's heart. Sebastian is very blessed to have a man like Seth as his father, in my opinion. He loves him unashamedly. He said it. He said it last night. He never thought he could cry so much. And it's true, when you're going through something like what he's going through, you keep wondering where those tears are coming from, right? You wonder how you can keep crying, where it's all coming from, especially when you're a person that doesn't cry, right? And most men don't, you know. And I'm sure I kind of get the impression that that's not one to cry easily. But, oh, you're so right, K9. This case would have gone cold long ago without Seth. It would have. It would have. But you know what? We're helping him. I'm going to continue on. I'm not going to forget Sebastian. Every day I put out, it's either a short or a post about him. Try to talk about him most nights, at the very least several times a week. But haven't been able to get off the case anyway for a while again, which I'm glad about. I love talking about Sebastian, that sweet boy, and praying and hoping that he comes home, and having a community that feels the same way I do. We want to see him home with his dad, and it was shortly before Seth's video last night, a little bit after we got off our live, that I had a strong inkling that Jennifer Coffindaffer was his guest. And the reason that I found that out is because I am subscribed to Jen, and she showed up on my feed and said that I could put my notification on for her to be live at 7:05, which was exactly the time that Seth was going live. And I'm like, aha, that's who his guest is going to be. Because she did that before when she was on, I don't remember what show she was on before, and she did the same thing. They did the simultaneous broadcast. But Ginger said, what was said about Summer Wells not having family that wanted her found was true. Yeah. Well, and thank God that Seth does, right? Guys, I know that Katie and Chris got on national news and she said all the right things, right? But we realized last night on our live that those things that she said didn't necessarily mean what she was trying to convey. statement analysis is really, really important. Yes, Samantha, I agree with you. He keeps fighting for Sebastian Rogers' voice. Yes. I'm really proud of him too. You know, when you think about it, he's alone. If he didn't have Tony, I don't guys, I know that there's a lot of crap out there about Tony, right? It doesn't matter. What matters is he is a blessing to Seth. He's there for Seth to lean on. He was crying when Seth was playing those voicemails of Sebastian. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but he was crying. I could see the tears well up in his eyes, and then all of a sudden he's wiping them, and right along with the rest of us, which I'm teary-eyed just thinking about it, right? K9, you're right. If people can't see the stark difference, then they're blind as a bat. Seriously delusional. I mean, something. Blind as a bat is a nice way of putting it, honestly. For the life of me, I can't understand why people can't watch that man and see truth there. I mean, come on. The behavior analysts, the specialists, the statement analysts, professionals, Jennifer Coffindaffer, Peter Hyatt. These people see it for what it is. Why are others so flippin' blind? I will never understand it. Yeah. Jennifer was having a really hard time, I know. She was. But yes, I cannot understand how someone can't look and listen to that. Well, every single live that he's done. Why can't people see truth? I just don't get it. And you know what? I have to thank God that I'm able to see it. I would not want to be in that tiny little percentage that is so blinded. I would not want to be there. Would not want to be a part of that percentage. So, sometimes we can thank God for the small blessings as well as the big ones. And I did want to just kind of share the beginning of his thing. And Mike DeMann also put out another video. I don't know if we'll get to it tonight. It just depends on how things go here. Ginger says, I think it's time for the community to hear real information from law enforcement. These meaningless, vague statements are not helping the public to continue the search. Yeah, I agree. So, hello, Brenda Jo. Did you get your hair cut? She was out running around today, and Lacey heard her and started barking. So let's go ahead. I'm going to share my screen. Kind of set it up for his beginning piece.
I'd like to say thank you to everybody in chat. Thank you for my mods. Thank you for Sebastian's Army. Thank you, everybody, for the prayers that still continue to come in. We are continuing to look for Sebastian. We are continuing to trace down every lead that comes in, turn over every rock, go down every rabbit hole. We will find him. That is my only goal. And I appreciate everybody that's there with me on this goal of finding my son and bringing him home. It's been a very trying year. I know a lot of y'all I've seen in chat, you guys are not happy with some of the interviews that are going on, but there are people out there that are obstacles, and that's it. They're just obstacles, you know. Giving them any type of validation is not worth Sebastian's time.
I love what he just said there. Those people are obstacles. And giving those people any type of validation is not worth Sebastian's time. That's amazing. My autistic son is turning 16 in July, and my autistic daughter with Rett syndrome, she's turning 14 in July. Oh, the last time their father saw them was when they were toddlers. That's so sad, Samantha. I'm sorry. But I can tell you're very proud of them. Thank you for being a wonderful, loving mother. Just like Ginger Girl and Canine. You got Robin, my goodness. He was a narcissistic person, yeah. Yeah, hard to live with. Oh, Juicy, I'm sorry to hear that. Wow. All right, let's continue on.
And I appreciate everybody that does debunk everything that they sit there and come out with.
And that's what we do. And guys, I just want to say to you, because I don't hear from too many people, but I want to let you know, if you hear of anything new, you hear of anything wacko that needs to be debunked, email me, okay? Because I am committed to doing what Seth just said, debunking any and all garbage that has no merit. And the latest that's come out, I'm sure you guys are aware, is that stupid video that they're trying to say is Sebastian. Even Jennifer Coffindaffer said last night that's the worst thing she's ever seen in a missing persons case. Worst misleading information that she's ever seen. So please, guys, don't be afraid to email me. Let me know. You know, of course, if you get something that is extremely important, get it to law enforcement, dog, whatever. But then email me. But I'm always happy to hear from you guys, honestly. All right, let's see what we got here. When I heard that the distant and distracted KP was who she was for the last 52 weeks, I wasn't that shocked. No, I wasn't either. We remember seeing her in the TRH video, right? And what was she doing? She was distracted. She wasn't conversing with her son at all. And guys, here was a young man that has problems socially. So he only has his family when he's home because he doesn't have friends. How much more should the parents be engaging him in conversation and doing things with him? She made it sound like, oh, game night, and I loved hanging out with him and doing different. Seth has a report that says just the opposite. Right? Yeah. Seeing her in court laughing it up. It's all a big joke to her. This isn't funny. And the whole reason they were in court is because her and Chris are so allegedly scared of another creator. Come on. I mean, that's ridiculous. Machete. Machete. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't get it. Does the judge not see through that? Or is he just looking at it as these are parents of a missing child? Right? I mean, is that the only thing he's looking at? I don't know.
It's trying, very trying. Nobody really wants to sit there and understand what's going through my mind every day. You know, it's when I do sleep, Sebastian's there. And when I wake up, he's not. You know, some people have been sitting there going that they hope that Sebastian haunts his mother. I'm not. I'm not into that because I had nothing to do with his disappearance. And every time I close my eyes, he's there. I wake up having conversations with him. I relive every moment that I spent with him every time I go to sleep. The fact is that whoever has him, if you're watching this, if you're seeing this, please just drop him off somewhere where there's a phone where he can go in and tell him, please, my name is Sebastian Rogers. I need you to call 911. It's the only thing. It's the only thing I care about is finding my son and bringing him home.
Take a deep breath, buddy.
I do have a special guest this evening. Some of you in chat have already guessed who it is. I'd like to bring up Jennifer Coffin-Daffin.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Jen.
Hi, Tony. Hi, Seth.
Hello, Miss Jen.
You know, this is so, I can't even relate. And I know everybody in the audience that hasn't lost a child. And I know there's many in this audience that have lost a child. we can't imagine what you're going through, but we can see it, Seth, and all of us are going to continue to use our platforms to bring Sebastian front and center, and to hopefully someday he'll be found, and your pain, your pain will go away.
I was talking to somebody earlier today, and he disappeared at 15. He's now 16, and it's like time stops. Time just stops. And if I found him tomorrow, it's trying to pack everything that I have missed doing for him for the last year, and then just playing catch up. Like, disappears at 15. He's 16 now. I haven't even taught him how to shave. When he would watch me in the bathroom when I shaved, and he was starting to grow a mustache, and he just didn't like it. He was like, I don't like my mustache. And it's like, well, I like mine. If you shave it, it's going to grow in thicker. Teaching him how to use facial cleansers and the little machine. Like, I have pictures because teenager started to get acne. So, it's just, I'm not done teaching him. And the fact is that somebody has my son, and they're stopping me from continuing to teach him. And just not done. I'm not done living my life, teaching him and enjoying my life next to him. At 15, I'm supposed to get 3 more years before he's, technically able to move out of the house. And now he's 16. Now we're down to 2 years. And it's like, I find him at 16. He was just probably going to have to stay at my house until he's 20 now, maybe 25. I don't know if I'm going to ever let him leave. Once I find him, like, I've always told him that he has a room at my house no matter what. But now I think it's more along the lines of, you're going to have to stay. I build a house. He's just going to have a house wherever I'm at. You want to move out, that's fine. We'll build another one right behind the house. That way I know where you're at. That way I know that he's safe. And right now, the worst thing in the world is not knowing if he's safe. Not knowing that he's getting fed. Not knowing that he's properly clothed. Not knowing that he's getting the friendship that he deserves. Being able to talk to somebody that understands him. And it's horrible because I don't know what he's going through.
Yes. Had to take a little break there. Yeah, can you imagine once he gets him back what that's going to feel like, guys? He's going to want to not let him leave his sight. Any of us would feel that way, wouldn't we? Any of us would feel that way. So you guys have been talking while I'm see. Samantha says, if that boy was my son, I would yell to the world to bring me back my son. You can have me. Just bring my baby back to me, please, please. I know. My only thought with what you said there is, yes, we would gladly give ourselves up for our children. But honestly, Sebastian needs Seth. Because Samantha, he cannot go back to the other household. He cannot. it's not a possibility. So he needs Seth. But I hear ya. I mean, you know, and that's kind of what he's saying. Bring him back. You know, I don't care about anything else. Just drop him off. You know, what he's trying to do is give that person an out, right? Um, you know, and from there it would be up to law enforcement to figure out who had him. Sebastian would tell Seth, whatever, right? But um, he just wants his son to be home. She did, though. I'm being sarcastic. She says, I just want everyone to know we need him to come home. Yeah, she just wants everybody to know. KP lied to take Sebastian away from Seth to get even with him and to hurt him for calling Eliane her mom. Yeah, could very well be. Could very well be. Hello, Lady for Justice. Good to see you. Yeah. Every time I start to see Seth get teary-eyed, I get teary-eyed. Huh. You know? Yeah. Good point, Samantha. She did a year later, right? when she knows that yeah, when she knows where he is. I believe she knows where he is. If she doesn't know where he is, she knows who took him. For sure. Hello, Pitter Patter. Good to see you. Oh, Lady for Justice, thank you so much for gifting a Granny membership. If you receive that, please thank Lady. It's awesome. And we are going to play our thank you song.
Granny wants to thank you all for kindness in the chat room. Super stickers, bright and grand, gifts of love we understand.
Memberships you gifted here spread the joy and banish fear. Every super thanks you send warms her heart and ends the end.
Granny cheers with love so true for each special thing you do. Thank you from her heart. You all play a major part.
You guys do. Lady says, I was bawling last night. My heavy thought Sebastian was found and gone. I know. My goodness. I mean, I just, at the end, when Seth did that, and I was going to play it again today and let us hear Sebastian's voice, but I don't know. I don't know if I can. But then when he said, I can't do this anymore, and he had to go, I was like, oh my gosh, just ugly bawling and praying. I was praying, God, please bring him home, and just crying and sobbing. It was horrible. It was horrible. I keep saying it was horrible. It was horrible because I felt so bad for Seth, right? I don't mean that it's horrible. You were listening to his daddy. I know. Yeah, mine too. Lady for Justice. I was saying earlier how Sebastian is blessed to have a dad like Seth, right? And I feel the same way. I had a dad who was everything to me and lost him 2 years ago. It'll be 3 years in August. Having a dad that believes in you, that loves you no matter what, means everything. And people don't realize it until they're gone, right? We take it for granted until they're gone and they're not here anymore. One of the last things that my dad said to me, he had COVID, right? And he knew he was dying, but he was very alert right up until the last day. And he looked at me and he said, "What are you going to do without me?" And in my mind and my heart, I was screaming, "I don't know," right? But I had to look at him and smile and say, "Dad, I'm going to be okay. Don't you worry about me. You're going to go home. You're going to see Mom, you know, right?" Because that's what we do. So Sebastian is very, very lucky to have Seth as a father. At 97, wow. Yeah. My dad was just days away from his 90th birthday. But yeah. Yep. That's when I lost it, right at the end. Hello, Meow. Hello, Pitter Patter. Good to see you guys. Sorry you came in here when I'm emotional, Cheryl. Good to see you. So yeah. And I'm sure wherever Sebastian is, he has realized, because when you're away from someone for a while, you do realize how important they are to you. Yeah. Your dad was only 3 years older than you are now when he passed. Wow. Huh. How did we get so emotional here? But yes, I think that. Hello, SRB. Good to see you. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, Melissa. On Monday, and died Sunday. Oh, I'm sorry for your loss. Yeah. Whether it's sudden or whether it's still difficult when it happens, right? My mom had lung cancer from smoking Pall Malls for years and years without a filter. And they gave her a year to live, and she died. They gave her 6 months to a year to live, and she died almost to the day of that 6-month mark. Oh, Ginger. The last thing my dad said to me was, "Watch your back. Your mom and sister will kick you out of the family when I'm gone." He always spoke the truth, and that got him in a lot of trouble. Yeah. My sister didn't like that my dad said that. He had told her he wasn't worried about her. She had her husband, her, still together, and he wasn't worried about her. That her husband would take care of her, but I was alone. So, and we were living together, me and Dad. He was capable right up until he got COVID, guys. I mean, he still wanted to drive, but we wouldn't allow him because he just wasn't a good driver anymore. But I mean, he was very capable. But yeah, my sister didn't like that. And maybe we needed these moments to share. I have no support system left in Kentucky. I feel so unsafe in the world now with my daddy gone. I hear you, lady. I hear you. You have no support system left in Kentucky. And all I really have is Brenda Joe here. So I get what you're saying. Can be really difficult. My girls are off living their lives, different cities. And so, yeah, my sister is off. She just moved to Kentucky a few months back. And so I get what you're saying. It gets difficult. And that's why I do this. And I love chatting with you. I feel like, when I'm setting up my shows for you guys, I look forward to this because you're like my family. We're each other's family. Sepsis took him. Oh. And Samantha says, Granny, I really think Katie has Sebastian Rogers hidden alive somewhere with a family member or friends, or maybe his godparents. I believe the same thing, Samantha. I believe that she planned this. That's why she's not worried. People don't look for someone when they know where they are. That's awesome, Ginger. Love him, God, him, my son. Yes. And yeah, I feel to say that too. I have the love of God as well. It's, I think, when you get up in age, you start realizing how important the Lord can be in your life, right? But let's continue on here a little bit.
And watching her interviews just made me sick because it's about them. I'm going through hell. I know I am, but I also know where I'm at. People know where I am, and we don't know where he is. He is my grace, and he has been my grace since he was born. And I just want to find him.
Her interviews made us sick. So we weren't alone in that, guys, because they made us sick too, didn't they? He was 84 and still working on the family farm. We believe sometime on Saturday he passed out, couldn't get to his phone. He was found Tuesday evening. Oh my gosh. That's horrible, lady. I'm so sorry. Oh, that's awful. My two parents took turns hiding me and my siblings away from each other. Because of that, I have faith and hope. Sebastian Rogers is alive. Awesome. You know it, lady. Yeah, absolutely. Big old bear hug. And then next in line, my mommy and daddy. and all the rest of my relatives. Communication is vital, right? I've been criticized, I'll just be honest with you guys, for not being on camera. I'm sure that you guys can tell who I am by things that I share with you. I'm not always going to be on camera. I will come on every now and again, but I am vain enough to just not come on the way I look. I will always put on makeup, do my hair, but I can come on every night with you and not have to worry about that. I can worry about my content and worry about being with you guys, and not have to worry about putting on a show, right? I think it's possible for you to know who I am, even though you can't see me. I don't think KP knows love or how to love. I am not sure she sent Sebastian to a good place. Yeah. Oh, Samantha, thank you. I agree. My dad and I just didn't regularly call each other because we just knew we had each other. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's really true. And I have to say, when I was off living my best life, right, I didn't call my parents as often as I should, but I did speak to them, at least like once a week. But then when I did come back, I came back because my mom was, literally dying from lung cancer. I came back to help my sister take care of her, sister and my dad, and just stayed. From that point on, I stayed with them. And after my mom passed, I got myself a job, but I still stayed there because they were of that generation where Dad didn't know how to cook. I taught him how to boil eggs because his favorite was boiling hard-boiled eggs. He loved hard-boiled eggs. Taught him how to boil eggs. Taught him how to make coffee. What else did I teach him? How to use a vacuum cleaner. And then him and Lacey had this little game that they played. Lacey would go get her ball and drop it right in front of the vacuum cleaner so that when Dad went forward with it, it would it would go rolling away, and then Lacey would bring it back. Yeah, those two were crazy. If they knew where Sebastian is, they need to stop making us suffer. I would want to sue for pain and suffering. I agree, Melissa, but I don't think that Katie cares it's us suffering. My parents didn't text. He wouldn't. Oh, yeah. I tried to teach him how to do a computer, because he liked playing solitaire and stuff. I tried to teach him how to even play a game. No, didn't work. And my sister took him and got him an iPhone. Oh my gosh. He did not understand that thing at all. Every day I'd have to teach him, or I'd come home at the end of work. Linda, something's wrong with the TV. I don't know. I pushed a button. I don't know what's wrong with it. So I'd have to fix it. He'd be sitting, because he always sat and watched TV all day long. unless he was out and about visiting friends or something. But when he was home, he watched TV all day long. And so he'd be grumpy and irritable because he didn't have his TV for I don't know how many hours. We did. We learned that they did hire the PI. And it's funny how they have money for him, but none for Sebastian's care. Yeah. Yep. And yes, K9, it's right. It's crazy to think that they could end this madness if they really chose to, right? They could. But I think they're too scared now. It is my strong opinion and belief that Katie is scared to death. That's what I believe, guys, with all my heart. Yeah. She looked it. She acted like it. The red face, the red neck, yeah. Your last comment disappeared? That's weird. Yeah. There yeah, and what I feel like is that not just rewriting the script um by implying that Sebastian's seen in that video, they're trying to make themselves look innocent. It's a last ditch effort and it didn't work. Ellie said, no, that's junk. We know what that is. And no, it's no evidentiary value. Oh, that might be why, lady. Nightbot, there are words in there and they will delete it. But let's continue on here a little bit.
Seth, it's definitely abundantly obvious to me and Jen and everybody else that's watching that when you have an innocent parent that truly doesn't know where their child is, it's hard to fight back the tears. It's not hard to produce a tear. And I think that your interviews are telling over and over and over again. It's never been about you. It's always been about your son.
Yes.
You know, I didn't know I could cry this much. I didn't know anybody could cry this much.
Yeah.
And it's like every day I feel like maybe I'm cried out. And I won't do it. But just walk by his room, or I just see something that's his, and it's like I don't want to move it. Things need to stay where they were at when he left. So when he comes back, it's where he left it.
And that's important because Sebastian's autistic. And it'll be important for Sebastian to know and to realize that dad left it that way because he loves you. So guys, do you see this Christmas tree back here? Seth hasn't said anything about it, but I have a feeling he's leaving that Christmas tree up until Sebastian comes home, and he's still going to have the Christmas that Sebastian missed. Think I'm wrong? Yeah. Well, you know what we're going to just call them from now on, guys? The term for those people, and we all know who we're talking about, are obstacles. Okay. So the obstacles are saying that Sebastian was seen in that video. Yeah, they're just a distraction. Yes. Pray. We need to pray. Depending upon the state, a judge has to determine occurred, then file suit. I agree. But they have to have enough evidence. I agree there too. I know. But guys, think about it. Do we just want abuse charges? I don't. Right? I don't. I want more than that. I want them to go away for a long time, whoever is responsible. Yep. Well, they had it professionally cleaned, so I doubt that everything is the way that he left it. You notice the tree too, SRB? Yeah, I have a feeling. And birthday presents too, yes. Ginger, thank you so much. If you received a membership from Ginger, please let her know that you thank her for that. And Ginger gets late. That's so sweet. Thank you so much. But yeah, I think the same thing about the tree and Lady for Justice. Same thing. The birthday presents. Because I'm a paralegal, if the state would file for CPS, they can get all four in one interrogation. One will flip, in my opinion. What if all four plead the fifth? We know at least one of them has. So yes, welcome Anna, BJ Boop, Scranton Stranger, Aaron Blair, and Dom. Nice to have you on board. All right.
Jen, I want to go to you for a minute and give Seth a chance to just decompress for a second. First thing I want to say is I think a lot of times, Jen, that people take having access to you for granted because you've now become this quasi content creator. And I think that, you know, having access to you, being able to speak to you, being able to get your opinions on things, a lot of people take that for granted because you're one of us now, so to speak. But I want everybody that's listening tonight to understand, and Jen, I can speak on a personal level. You know, you and I became friends working another case together, and have maintained a friendship, you know, all the way through today. And I'm blessed to call you a friend. But beyond the personal side of that, guys, when you have somebody with Jen's resume that has done what she's done, it doesn't really matter whether you like her or you like her channel or any of that. And quite frankly, Jen doesn't care any more than we do. But what I think that you have to be grateful to have is her as a resource and listening to her take on things, because quite frankly, it's not an uneducated take. It is a very, very educated take. It's based on years of experience. It's based on resources that have been available to her over time. And, you know, Jen, I'm just eternally grateful that we have you as an ear, as a friend, as someone that when we don't understand something, we can call you and say, hey, does this sound right to you? This is what we've heard. This is what we've learned in our communication with law enforcement, in general. Does this seem right? And you're able to talk us through. Yes, it makes sense, and this is why. Maybe it doesn't make sense, and this is why. But again, we're grateful to have you as a friend and a resource, and just want all of your audience that follows you daily and all of Seth's audience to know that, man, what a privilege to have you on talking about Seth and his son and what you see and feel and believe based on your education and all your years experience. So I'm going to turn it over to you and just let you talk for a minute.
Well, Tony, I just want to say, first of all, that is very humbling. I'm humbled to be here because if it were my child, I don't know if I would have the wherewithal that Seth has shown through this. And I mean that sincerely. I haven't walked one step in his shoes, but sadly, I've walked alongside of so many parents over the years still that are in those shoes. And it's really something to watch the strength, to watch the focus be on Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, even with all the noise. And so bringing it back to him, I want to say that with all the cases of the missing, and we're all very active in all these cases. I post about them daily and talk about them daily. And Sebastian is so special. I don't want to say anything negative about any of the other missing. I just want to say, how did he become so special? And I think a big part of it, to start, Seth, was your honesty about him, your rawness, moments good, moments bad, but always moments honest. And
That, what she said, guys, moments good, moments bad, but always moments honest. I love that. And that's exactly what Seth brings to the table when he talks about Sebastian. Moments good, moments bad, but always moments honest. Lady, he's holding it better than I am, and I'm nobody. I'm sitting here like teary eyed, and I've seen this already, so goodness sakes. Yes, Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, we love you wherever you are. Weird to say, but you are a very special young man. If you're out there and you're listening to this, call your dad. Call 911. Come home. Um, but yes, Jen is a good resource, and I am thankful. See, if it weren't for Tony being in Seth's life, Seth would not have access to these resources that he's gotten. Right? So people can say what they want about Tony, but Tony has been Seth's strength. He's been able to lean on him. He's brought in resources that they can call in, like Jennifer, and say, does this sound right? What do you think here? A sounding board that understands missing person cases. What better resource? Yes, that's true. Every parent of a disabled child knows there are good and bad days. That's right. And you know what, lady? I didn't have disabled. Well, my youngest daughter had ADHD, but I didn't really call that You know, I don't even like the word disabled, but because every parent with children know that there are good and bad days. You know, there are just some that have a different ability. I like to think of it that way instead of being disabled. Yes, Tony is a rock he can lean on day or night, and that is a true friend and support. When your friend cries right along with you, JC Ann, amen. Welcome in. He's not disabled. He's autistic. He's got another ability, right? And I never looked at my daughter as being disabled. She just had a special ability. And mostly it was fun. She was she was the joy in our household. I wouldn't even want to call it a condition. I like to call it an ability. But, it's better than being disabled. Yeah. Well, and, the justice system likes labels, so that's understandable, lady. It's understandable completely, right? But I love what she said, and I hope we can remember that. Ginger or Canine, can you write it down and email it to me? Moments good, moments bad, but always moments honest. I love that. That's a good grannyism. Moments good, moments. Thank you, Jennifer Coffindaffer. I love that. I love that.
You brought him to life, I think, for everyone.
Mhm.
The pictures that were chosen, starting with the snake. I mean, just the draw of that. I mean, for me personally, we had a ball python named Jackie. My son is the exact same age as Sebastian. And for all of us that have a child and a son, particularly one that age right now, of course, this is so touching. But not only that, it's like the life in his eyes. I posted because I had seen for the first time, I heard his voice with that green tea. And I got to tell you, that moment was tough, and it had to be tough for anybody who has a heart. Because you could see that exactly how you talked about him, that you were just honest. You're like, he's kind of quirky. He's funny. He is interesting.
Guys, you heard me talk about the green tea. I've shown it to you. To me, it was a very special video, and it meant the same thing to Jen Coffindaffer. But look at Seth's eyes here. He's about ready to cry again, still. But I felt the same way about that green tea video. When you first hear his voice, and, Ginger says, my son doesn't like to be defined by his medical conditions. He said that God has just given him a heavier cross to carry some days. Exactly. I have found that these children always have something special, like she's saying, about them. That's why I like to say it's another ability, because they're special. There is something so special. What they may lack, God gives them so much more in other areas. And He does that with all of us. What we may lack, he gives us more in another area. Oh, Lady, I'm sorry. Son has autism, ADHD, bipolar, and new diagnosis, schizophrenia. Yeah. Well, I'll be praying for your son. Sorry to hear that. And getting diagnosed is half the battle, right? Finding the right medication that's going to work. And yes, his voice is sweet. I'm glad to hear the meds are working good. That's awesome. I know Sebastian is very special. He stole the hearts of a whole army. He did, right? I mean, he really did. And it's like Jen couldn't even put it into words as much as just like she said, being able to see it with the green tea video. We somehow were able to glean his personality, his quirkiness, the funny part of him, and the twinkle in his eyes. And I don't know. Let's continue with what she said.
And
So that leads me to my next question. I don't want to cut you off, but you walked right into it. You and I were talking on the phone the other day, and we were trying to wrap our brains around what exactly it was. You and I have talked about Joe Petito many times, has talked about the blonde-haired, blue-eyed white girl effect. And, you don't often see a 15-year-old young man that captures the hearts of America like Sebastian has. So what do you think has made everybody get so entrenched with, I'll say, finding this young man, because I want to believe that that's what most people are here for.
Amen.
That's what most people are here for. 98% of everybody here is here for that. And going back to a few of those things I said, but I think the other piece, this has truly become, I think for many, a mystery, if you will. To me, I don't really look at it that way, but I think a lot of people think, how in the world did this young man just disappear? And this gorgeous smile, his eyes that light up a room, all of that, Tony and Seth, you could tell he's just a special, fun, vivacious young man. And our hearts go out. Does autism play a part in that? I think yes, because anytime you know that there's someone with special needs that are missing, it's even more special because they're more vulnerable. They're less worldly. So now you have somebody who's a teen, only 15, and vulnerable. It makes all of us even more worried and concerned. You put it all together, and Tony, I'm going to say this, and Seth, this isn't just the United States. The world cares about your son. The world is posting. The world is saying his name, hoping someone saw something.
Well, you mentioned hearing his voice with the green tea, and something I didn't even talk to you about before the interview, but you're going to get to hear his voice again tonight, and it's going to be in a way that is so raw that I don't think there'll be a dry eye in the house. But
Boy, was he right.
I want everybody to understand that I believe that when you come on the Father's channel to hear the Father in the raw, with raw emotions, talking about his son, I do believe that's a privilege. I don't believe it's a right.
Amen.
And these are personal things he's sharing. This is a vulnerability he's sharing. And I just don't want anybody to take that for granted, because I can tell you, you guys came tonight to hear from the Father, not from Jen and myself, but you can see that Seth is not doing well. And, he doesn't like me sharing his personal business, but I can tell you the last few days have been a real struggle. And while we're on that subject, we've got a lot of content creator friends that religiously call and talk to Seth and check on him and, just ask him how he's doing. And you guys know who you are. I wanted to thank you for that. And, Seth, we'll give the mic back to you.
I like what he said about hearing from him is a privilege. It's not a right. And that is so true. So true. All right, let me go back and see what I've missed here. The reason I dove into this case, Sebastian reminds me of my son at that age. Tall, smiley, great sense of humor, loves animals, played chess. It's uncanny. Aw. See, and not everybody can play chess and play it well. Oh, I'm sure it does. I'm sure your heart does break watching him struggle. I remember when my daughter was 5 years old, when I realized that she had ADHD. Up until that point, I knew that she was very active, hyper, you want to say, but always funny, always funny. And, but when she was 5 and I was homeschooling her, and I had this special curriculum that was hands-on. I mean, we owned a pet shop, and I would take the gravel from the fish, that's meant for fish in the fish tanks, and we would use glue, and she would make the letter A out of the glue, and then pour the gravel on top, and then when it dried, she could trace that A. And that helped her remember the letters. But she struggled so hard. I remember that. And yeah, it does. It breaks your heart. So I really understand that part of it. My son has a fluid pocket on his brain, totally blind with mild cerebral palsy on the left side. He's very bright and caring and tries to be helpful to others with vision loss and seniors. Aw. Yeah. So is his fluid pocket like the same as what Sebastian has, Ginger? That if he falls down and hits it, is that the same thing or is it something different? I pray for your son every day. My goodness. He was a whiz at math, won lots of awards in school. ADHD equals creativity. Yes, it does. It really does. It is the same as Sebastian's. Gotcha. Oh, man. Yeah. And she's 44 now, lady. And she is still hyper. She's the one that has my 2 grandbabies, right? She's always on the go. She just got back. Her birthday was February 22nd. A bunch of her girlfriends flew in. They all flew into Chicago, including my daughter, and they had a big birthday celebration there, right? She just is always going. which I'm sure is good for the grandbabies, right? I mean, oh, yeah. That had to have been scary, Ginger. I think I would have been freaking taking her to the hospital. Ah, exactly, Canine. There is a strength in them, right? I mean, there is a strength that's that extra ability that these children have that, yeah, it's just something, isn't it? Just something. I don't know. And how old is your son now, Ginger? That whole flood thing drives me nuts. Yeah, I imagine it does. I imagine it does. So I chose not to isolate my son. We took him everywhere: bush garden, to beach, hiking, camping, and fishing. Yeah, yeah. You can't isolate them. He's 35. Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, and here's the thing, guys. If the thud really did happen, and if it was a thud, what kind of mother, I don't care if he's 15, doesn't go check on her kid because he's got water on the brain? What kind of mother doesn't, because that could be deadly? What kind of mother doesn't go check on their kid? I think I saw Pascal the other day say, how she said that, I'm sure you understand, 15-year-old boy, you just don't want to go walking into his room. Pascal was like, son, what's going on in there? Knock, knock, knock. I'm coming in. I need to know what's going on. Open the door. What's going on? What happened? Are you okay? Okay, so what time is it? Okay, past your bedtime. Now go to sleep and leave, right? It's exactly how a parent would be. I would have done the same doggone thing. Now, I didn't have boys, guys. I know. But um I still would have walked in. Doesn't matter. He makes you coffee every morning with his Keurig. That's cool. You have 4 boys. 38, 30, 29, and 12. Was the 12 an oopsie? That's awesome. I'm sorry. I'm sure but I bet he was an oopsie. Was he an oopsie? Oh gosh. Exactly. Your nose would be in that room. Yeah. There's a safe way to check on a teen. There really is. And Samantha says she checks on her 2 autistic teenagers 24/7. Of course you do, right? Katie, have you ever heard the word knock? Yeah. Not to mention, it's your home. he may be 15. It's okay to allow him some privacy, but it's still your home. Knock on the door. I'm coming in. New guy with no baggage. I have an intercom now that I am sick and cannot go racing up the stairs. If I hear something strange, I am on that intercom. Yeah. Yeah. Never married or children. Greek and his parents asked me, and you agreed to one. Gotcha. And SRP 30, 19, and 10 every decade. That's funny. Not me. I had mine. Let's see. 49 and 44. But my 49-year-old will turn 50. Oh gosh, I'm getting old. On March 12th. Their birthdays were around the same time. My youngest was born February 22nd, and my oldest was born March 12th. Just 2 girls. Had to stay busy. That's funny. All right, guys. So the other thing that I did want to kind of talk about was that report. I was surprised. That's the first that I had heard about it. Did you guys hear about this report before last night? That Seth has gotten? That talks about in Sebastian's words. Yeah, I'd never heard about it until last night. And I can't imagine what that was like for Seth to read his son's words. And it pretty much sounded like they had nothing to do with Sebastian at all. So what we saw at TRH, where she was just ignoring him, was pretty much what he got 24/7. Is it positive, lady? Because we don't want to say anything negative about anybody. If it's positive, you can say by initials. If it's not, probably not, but you can email me. But yeah, I had never heard about that. Oh, for the creator has walking pneumonia? Then yes, please put initials so that we can pray. Keep him in our prayers. Yeah, and we saw, even Jen told him, you didn't know. You cannot beat yourself up for something you didn't know, right? I struggled with something like that for a long time. And you really can't. When you don't know something, you have to let it go. Otherwise it'll eat you up inside. Oh, wow. Okay. Wow, lady. Yeah, I'll keep him in my prayers. That's too bad. Yeah, K9 says, the more I hear about Sebastian's life, the more I feel for him. What a sad life. Yeah. Yeah. I wish that, you know, Seth would have been able to get him back before then. I understand him waiting, wanting to wait. He was trying to do what's best for Sebastian, but, you know, it's always a shoulda, woulda, coulda, right? And he's driving to the vigil. Wow. Is he contagious? Well, I'm glad I'm not going, but no, I'm not glad I'm not going. I wish I could go. Wish I could go. But yes, we'll be praying for Justin for sure. Whenever something's positive like that, I don't mind saying it because, you know, obviously we're going to always be prayerful for somebody who's hurting, like the E's had so much going on as well. And that's always hard. But yes, K9, hindsight is 2020. That's exactly true, right? Yeah. Yep. Seth was blindsided. You know, and now he feels guilty. Well, he shouldn't, right? I mean, he talked to his son every day after school. And then he had him every other weekend. So, you know, there wasn't much more he could do. He was getting it set up for Sebastian to come and live with him. He was doing everything he could do at that point in time. He can't beat himself up. That's why it's imperative that Sebastian is found and he's brought home to his dad. And I will tell you something. If with all the evidence that he has now, if they even get supervised visitation, this granny's going to be upset because they don't deserve it. Yeah, Sebastian is a very strong and brave young man. And I really pray that he's with somebody who understands autism, ADHD, allegedly ODD. I don't know if that's true. In my opinion, if he had ODD, it was because of where he was living. But I'm praying that because that's exactly what Seth is worried about. He doesn't know what his son is going through. Somebody doesn't understand him. Or his abilities. You know, I just praying that he's with somebody that does. Yeah. Like Seth said, once he comes home, he'll never let him out of his sight. And he'll make sure he gets the therapy and everything that he needs. Because he was the one that said Sebastian didn't get the right therapy after the SA episode. So, yeah. And KP said, hang in there. Hang in there. Yeah. Oh, that irritated me so bad when I saw that. Oh, I was angry. Go back and watch a video, guys. I was angry. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I've gotcha. Totally understand. I had similar circumstances, someone in our family, so it's awful. So I was going to end it tonight, guys, with, well, maybe I better show this first. My father gave me the greatest gift anyone could give another person. He believed in me. And this is what I believe Seth is to Sebastian. Seth believes in Sebastian. Yeah. Like he was at some summer camp and having a tough time. No KP, he's missing. Yeah, exactly. So did you guys want to hear again Sebastian's voice? That's what I was going to kind of end tonight with. Or do you not want to cry? I'm giving you a choice. I have to laugh because, yeah, I've been teary-eyed all day and teary-eyed watching this, and I know. After hearing about the reports, I got mad for allowing myself to feel sorry for KP. Yeah. Yeah, because for a moment during that one interview, I felt a little bad for her, but it didn't take long for me to realize it was BS. Katie with the BS. Katie, stop with the BS. Bring Sebastian Rogers back to his father. Yeah. His sweet little voice. Yes. You got this? Okay. All right. I gotta find it, so trying to find it by looking at him.
Just needed to call him. Hold on.
Hi, Daddy. Sorry to too long. Please hold. I love you. Bye.
Look at Tony, guys. Jen.
Your visual song? It just started. Hi, Dad. I know this has been a family, but tomorrow's picture day. So could you send some decent clothes over to me so that I can wear the decent clothes and be handsome for my birthday? Did you say we don't have decent clothes? Mom, what? Do you let me wear whatever I want to wear for picture day? Oh, clothes for picture day. Mom, okay. I need to get decent clothes. I know. Stop, Daddy. Will you please send decent
Thank you, Seth.
I'm sorry.
So his voice hadn't changed yet, or had it changed by the time he was 15?
It did.
It's
His voice started to change about 14 and a half years old.
precious.
I can't do this anymore.
Bye, Seth. Thank you. Thanks for
Thank you.
sharing your heart.
Thank you, Tim.
Thanks for sharing.
Oh, guys, I know. Even Tony, yeah. It never gets easier, does it? Poor Sebastian. Oh, Lord, be with Seth, please. Bring Sebastian home to his dad. Quickly, please. Oh, guys, gotcha. It is. It's absolutely heartbreaking. Guys, please make sure that you light it up green for Sebastian, whether it's a green candle, green porch light. I have green solar lights on my porch. Because we don't know where he is. He could be anywhere. And if he would run and get away and he sees green lights, you know, we never know. Yes. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to talk about was the prayer vigil is tomorrow. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to get myself under control here because but yes, as I understand it, law enforcement is going to be there tomorrow. So, I so wish I could go, but I imagine that place is going to be packed, right? So keep them in your prayers, right? I saw that CJ had, oh, awesome, Lady for Justice. That's awesome. I'm glad you can go. Oh gosh, you're going to be crying tomorrow too. That's a good thought. I never thought about that. Hindsight just posted an update, huh? On X or on no. No, I look for their things every day. Green carnations for Seth. Yeah. Well, if you get the opportunity to talk to Seth, let him know that Granny's Crime Busters cried with him, and we're praying daily for him. So thank you guys. Yeah, we can go all take a look at the update. Let you guys all go. And we will see you tomorrow. Have a good evening, guys. Thanks. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching another episode of Granny's Crime Busters. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to subscribe and like and even share the content. You can follow us on any of our other social media platforms at YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We really appreciate you guys, and you can also email us at granniescrimebusters@gmail.com. Thank you so much, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.